Hello, welcome to Ask Rabbi Spivak. I'm Rabbi Spivak, and today's question comes from Portland, Oregon. Dear Rabbi Spivak, I understand that American law and the justice system has its roots in the Torah justice system of ancient Israel. Is this true? The answer to this question is yes and no. Yes, in the sense that there are many things in Jewish tradition and law which were adapted later by American law and other countries, absolutely. But there are also many differences, and American law does not follow exactly what Jewish law says. The main thing, the main difference that I would say, of course, there's a system of judgment, a jury system, and that's where the crux of the difference is. The jury system was made up of dayanim, of judges that were appointed by other judges and appointed by leaders, and they had to have tremendous knowledge. Today, anybody who was born in America can serve as a judge. That's not an issue. And sometimes, if you have a very, very shrewd lawyer, he can manipulate these people. And sometimes the lawyers look for people who are not that intelligent and not that knowledgeable because they think it's easier to put one over on them. The Torah law and tradition requires that judges appoint other judges, leaders appoint judges who are, and appoint them for anoshim chachamim u'nevonim, as it says in Deuteronomy, in Devarim, men who are wise and understanding. That's the main rule. We don't trust the justice system to the layman who may have no expertise at it. We wouldn't trust someone who's not a mechanic to look over a plane before it flies, and certainly we wouldn't trust, says Torah Judaism, someone to vote on a system, to vote on a rule or an outcome who has no legal training. So the Torah requires that it be a person who is a Talmid Chacham, Anashim Chachamim U'Nevonim, wise and understanding. This is a very important issue here. As a matter of fact, the members of the Sanhedrin had to know 70 languages at least, because they could not take the testimony from people and have it translated. It has to be straight from the witness. So they had to master 70 languages so they could understand whatever language the witness was speaking in. And of course, Israel being a hub between Asia and Africa, so many people came through there. So the judges were required to be totally aware of at least 70 languages. So when you have a person like this, when you have a person who is warned that the law of a proof of a penny has to be the same as the law of a may of 100, that he should not lo sakiru poni b'mishpat, he shouldn't recognize somebody because somebody's important because of his wealth or who he knows, but only as a person standing there in front of him, waiting to be judged by the fair Torah judgment. And so the judicial system, the layman judicial system, does not exist in Torah law, and we have greater requirements than that. We have too much respect for the law and for the person who comes to the court than to put him at the mercy of people who are not trained in these things. Torah law requires a tremendous amount of knowledge. American law does not require you to know anything to vote for the President of the United States. You vote for who you like. You're not required in most cases to know how to read. You're not required in many ways to know anything except who you like. America is the greatest country in the world because it is one nation under God. But we're taking a big chance when we allow anybody who's born here and who's lived in America for 18 years to vote for who will have his hand on the nuclear button. And that's why we pray that God give wisdom to every citizen. Torah justice system does not go for that. Torah says we have to have trained people. We have to have people who are people who know what the law is. And even the king was subject to the prophets. The prophet would say to him, "You did something wrong." The prophet would speak in the name of God, whether the prophet was Nasan Hanavi, Achi Ashiloni, or any of those people. They spoke for God, and the king was answerable to them. So the system requires someone who is close to God spiritually, mixed with someone who is knowledgeable of the law, and that's why Judaism has survived. America is a great and wonderful country, and God has blessed us to allow us to use this system, and to allow us to let the layman have a say. But when we do that, we realize we're taking a very big chance. So that's the major difference in judicial systems between the American law and the Torah law. The Torah does not allow someone who is not trained in legality and someone who is not God-fearing to sit on a jury and decide someone else's fate. And this is a Rabbi Yaakov Spivak. We appreciate your listening. You can watch us all the time at YouTube, the Yaakov Spivak channel. We thank you for being with us. Sei gesund, lehitraut, shalom al Yisrael, and most of all, my friend, Chazak.